durch V1 gesunkene Stimmung zu heben.
Sie sind ja ein Schäbierlump!
Dernier acte de la semaine de la marine. L'escadre de l'Atlantique manœuvre
Deutsche Volksgenossen und Genossinnen.
de Brest, la flotte sous les ordres du vice-amiral Jean Soul.
Wollt ihr den totalen Krieg?
Hier habe ich die Meldung, ich lese sie gleich vor und bitte Sie im Funkhaus mit.
Воздушная тревога, зрелище прекращается.
People in West Germany who want to get away from work, annoyance and politics take their holiday on the North Sea island of Sylt. Only this narrow causeway links Sylt to the mainland. Holidaymakers from all parts of West Germany find relaxation and recreation here. An efficient administration tends the seaside resort of Westerland and looks after the guests. We visit the mayor, Herr Reinefarth. He has held this post since 1951, when he was elected by the votes of Adenauer's Christian Democratic Union and his allies. Herr Reinefarth goes about his work far from the attention of the workaday world.
But when you know more about Herr Reinefarth, you will realize that the mayor of Westerland deserves the attention of the world. Herr Reinefarth has not always been a mayor. For nearly 20 years, up until May the 8th, 1945, the end of the war, he was SS man number 56634. On November the 16th, 1944, the Schwarze Korps, newspaper of Himmler's black uniformed SS, wrote, SS Gruppenführer and Lieutenant General Reinefarth is a steeled fighter from the old guard of East Prussia. And the Schwarze Korps continued, already during the offensive in the West, he was decorated by the Führer with the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross for his quick powers of decision. But SS man number 56634 was destined for higher things. He became Inspector General of the administration attached to the Deputy Reich Protector for Bohemia and Moravia in occupied Czechoslovakia. You made yourself useful, Herr Reinefarth. So Himmler named you as higher SS and Police Führer of the SS Department Warte in occupied Poland. There was a lot of work in such an SS department. The fighter from the old guard proved that he had learned his job. The Warte province was covered with mass graves. And that day after day, until summer 1944. At the beginning of July, you went on holiday, Herr Reinefarth. You went during the school holidays with your family to your little house at Westerland on the island of Sylt. There you received a letter from Hitler, promoting you to the rank of SS Gruppenführer and Lieutenant General of Police. It was a fine holiday. It was not the first time that you had rested in the dunes, gathering strength for a new task. And it was not the last time. Soon, very soon, during the same summer, Reinefarth's great hour was to come. Warsaw would be the scene. The Nazi leadership had become very nervous there since the Soviet army had crossed the Polish frontier. The murder machine is running at full blast. One manhunt follows the other. Tens of thousands of the citizens of Warsaw are rounded up. Load after load leaves Warsaw for an unknown destination. These transports have been going on for 5 years now, and each year costs Poland 1 million dead. Warsaw begins to prepare for the rising. Explosives and cartridge cases are worth their weight in gold. They had little more than their courage and bare hands. Time presses, for every day more victims are driven to the mills of death. For every bare hand in Warsaw, there is an armaments factory in Germany. Everyone who took up arms knew what awaited him if he were captured. The last hours before the Warsaw Rising. An original report from the Nazi war newsreel.
On August 1st, a Polish rising broke out in all parts of Warsaw. The most powerful aggressive weapons went into action. Whole blocks of houses collapsed under the fire of big caliber guns. Volleys from 4-barrel guns blanketed all defense efforts from the other side. Storming guns and tanks go into action against individual blocks. Mortars throw a rain of fire into the pockets of resistance still holding out. After the softening up barrages, the ruins are stormed. SS units with armor-piercing weapons also go into action.
This was Mayor Reinefarth's great hour. Information. Army Command 9 reports on the SS units which have arrived in Warsaw to suppress the rising. The last paragraph of the report states, overall command of these forces lies in the hands of Police Major General Reinefarth. Only a few pictures have survived of these your activities in Warsaw, Herr Reinefarth? Warsaw was full of silent witnesses to Mayor Reinefarth's great hour. But he could not silence all witnesses. In a prisoner of war camp near Brussels, a German prisoner of war testified on Reinefarth in November 1945. Here is the original statement of the former non-commissioned officer Willy Fiedler. Fiedler, who today lives in Munich, was at that time soldier in a supply unit in Warsaw and worked there in a leather factory. This is what he stated.
For the better understanding of my statement, I submit a sketch of the situation of the factory. During our work, lasting 3 or 4 weeks in the factory, marked on the sketch with the letter A, I personally saw how Polish civilians were brought into the leather factory grounds, marked as 1, through the entrance F, and accommodated in the barbed wire enclosure C. I also saw how the same civilians were led from the barbed wire enclosure C and out through gate F. I could not understand what was going on, and the next day I attached myself, unobserved, to a new detachment of these ill-fated civilians. Thus I came through gate G into the inner part of the grounds with the wood storage park number 2. In the courtyard I saw about 150 or 200 Polish civilians, men, children and women. With a detachment of these civilians, I passed on through the building K, through gate M and thus to the wood storage park I. There I saw how the Polish civilians were driven by force in parties of 10. They were laid on the piles, with their faces down, some even dragged by the hair. And they were then shot in the back of the neck by an SS-man. The bodies were not taken away. The next party had to clamber up on the bodies, or were dragged up, and then were also shot. This went on until the pile was full, and all the Poles present had been shot. I saw about 9 or 10 piles of corpses built up like this. I don't know the names of the SS-men. These SS-men belonged to the Reinefarth group. I know that from an SS-man who told me so. I believe that 5,000 Poles were murdered in this place. It was well known, however, that there were a number of such places in Warsaw.
On September 30th, 1944, the Führer decorated SS Gruppenführer and Lieutenant General of Police Reinefarth as 608th soldier with a laurel wreath to the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross. After the war, the Polish government demanded the extradition of the war criminal Reinefarth. On July 24, 1950, a British major named Buchanan replied that for security reasons, there could be no question of handing over Reinefarth. So SS-man number 56634 quietly changed to Herr Reinefarth of Sylt. And in 1951, Herr Reinefarth could be elected by the votes of Adenauer's Christian Democratic Union and his allies to be the mayor of a town in the West German Federal Republic. Far from the workaday world and unnoticed by it, Herr Reinefarth goes about his work. As in the past, he awaits on Sylt the summons to new deeds. How long will he wait this time? The old guard of the SS has formed its ranks again and drummed up its supporters. Here is an SS rally in July 1957 near Würzburg. 8,000 SS-men rallied here. They talked over old times. Yesterday they possessed Germany. But what they possess today is quite a lot too. Nearly all of them drove to the rally in their own cars. This is the same car park from the other side. Along the banks of the River Main, the serried ranks of cars stretched for miles. For the second time, the big financiers have taken Hitler's old guard into the business. And the scene that you will now see occurred at this very rally in the summer of 1957 in the middle of the West German Federal Republic. On the platform you see SS General Meyer, who calls himself proudly Panzermeyer, Tank Meyer. He was once sentenced to death by a Canadian court. Countless Panzermeyers, big and small, and countless Reinefarths have taken over posts of command in West Germany, in the government, in industry, in the army. They are waiting to go into action again.